not sure what's happening with this eye today. It would be typical that the day that I would decide that I'm going to vlog all day, my eye decides to look like someone has punched me repeatedly in it. It's really sore as well. Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited because I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon, and there are a couple of reasons why I have decided to do this video. The first one is that there have been quite a few readathons taking place over the last couple of weeks, including Booktubeathon, which I just haven't been able to join in with because of work commitments and with the kids being on their summer holidays, and I've really missed out on taking part in those, but the kids are at my parents' house all week this week, so I thought that as my time is my own, I was going to give it a go and do my very own 24-hour readathon. The second reason is kind of just a personal interest reason really, and pre-kids I would have thought nothing of spending the entire day sitting and reading, but since having the kids I can only ever read either in the evenings when they've gone to bed, and I usually don't last very long because I'm tired myself, or in like little snatches and bursts throughout the day. So I've never really have the opportunity to sit and read for a really long time anymore, and I'm just interested to see how my tolerance for reading for a prolonged period might have changed over the last couple of years, and whether I can actually sit and read for hours on end, or whether I'm going to get really bored and want to be doing something else. So yeah, I'm just going to show you the books that I'm planning on reading. I'm dressed super casually today. Comfort is the name of the game. I think it's set to have another huge rainstorm later on, which will be perfect for reading. But yes, let me show you the books that I am planning on reading. And if you watched my July wrap-up, which I posted yesterday, you'll know that I'm really poorly at the moment, so excuse my nasal hoarse soundingness. It's really typical that when the kids go away for a week, I get really sick. Rather than being able to get on and do stuff, I'm actually just really poorly, which sucks. So the first book is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I have about 200 pages left of this. I'm already just around halfway through. This is the first book in, I think it is called A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. I'm not sure, but this is by Sarah J Maas. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's a fantasy book and I'm really quite enjoying it, so I think that I should be able to get those 200 pages read fairly quickly. And then after reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, I thought that I might want a quicker read or a smaller read, but I couldn't decide what I wanted to read, so I've chosen 3 books that are kind of around the 200 page mark, and I will choose from one of those. So the first one that we have is Noughts and Crosses by Ian Rankin, and this is a police drama, and it's his first in his Inspector Rebus series, and again it's super short, although the writing is really tiny. But I feel like this would be a good option. Then we have The Giver by Lois Lowry, which I don't know very much about other than it's a dystopian book, I think, and I've seen quite a lot of people talk about it on BookTube and really rate it highly. And again, it's super short. I don't even think it is 200 pages. It's literally just over 200 pages, so that's my other option. And then finally, a newer addition to my shelf is Nutshell by Ian McEwan, and again it's super short, and the thing that is interesting about this one is that it's told from the perspective of an unborn baby in the womb, so I'm just really intrigued to pick this one up and see. I can't even imagine how you would tell a story from that point of view, so I'm really intrigued to see that one. So yes, one of these 3 super short options will be the next book that I pick up after I finished my Sarah J Maas one. And then, all being well, unless I change my mind, I'm going to pick up A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, which is the second book in this trilogy, because I am determined to binge read and finish this trilogy this summer. I've been wanting to read it for ages, and now it seems like as good a time as any, although this is a mammoth book. This is like over 600 pages long, I think. Yeah, this is over 600 pages long, so how much of this I will get finished in the 24 hours, I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it a good go. So yeah, I've got my books, I've got my snacks, I've got some comfortable clothes on, I've got no responsibilities today whatsoever, if you are willing to ignore the fact that I should probably be packing for our upcoming house move, but you know, whatever. So yeah, if you would like to come along on this reading journey with me, then I will update you all shortly. Already basically failed at the first hurdle, so I thought I did my little intro. I came downstairs, I thought I'll make myself a cup of tea and I'll just get myself comfortable and chill out, and I've already been distracted putting on a load of washing and sorting out a load of washing, so I've really got to focus on just reading today. So it's taken me just over an hour, but I've read 100 pages of A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I have about 200 pages left to go. I'm really enjoying it actually. I think that it's a little bit all over the place in some regards, and I'm sure I'll talk about it more in my August wrap-up. Who can believe that it's August? But yeah, it's a little bit skippy in places, but I am actually really enjoying it. And it's gonna definitely be a guilty pleasure type book, I think. But it's lunchtime now, so I'm gonna stop and have some lunch, and then I'll carry on reading. So I'm just taking a break for lunch, and I'm gonna watch something on TV. I'm currently watching all the box sets of Murdoch Mysteries. I don't know if anybody else is watching those, but I'm on season 1 and really enjoying it. So yes, I'm just going to have a quick break from reading and have some lunch and watch something, and then I'm going to hopefully get through the last 200 pages or so of ACOTAR before I can move on to something else. Last night at about 11 o'clock in the evening, the electricity went off. We had a power cut and it didn't come back on until 8 o'clock this morning, and we've had engineers from the electricity board outside the house for most of the day, but they've just pulled up right close to the house, and although our fence is pretty high, you can kind of see over it, so not only has the electricity gone off again, but they were also all just peering over the fence at me when I was sitting outside reading. So I have retreated inside for the time being, and I'm about 100 to 150 pages away from the end of ACOTAR, which is very exciting. I am enjoying it. I think I said this earlier though, I'm finding the storyline very skippy and a little bit insta-lovey, which I'm not loving, but I have heard and seen quite a lot of reviews which said that the first book is not as good as the second, so I'm just kind of going with the flow, going with the story and seeing what happens, but overall I'm really enjoying it and finding it really difficult to believe that I disliked Selena so much in Throne of Glass, and I really thought that the writing was a little bit rubbish in Throne of Glass, but by comparison this is so much better. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I'm so close to being at the end, which is kind of pushing me forwards to keep going. But I'm hoping that the engineers will A, turn our electricity back on, and B, get lost soon, because they're making me feel a bit awkward about sitting in the garden, and it's not often that the sun shines in the summer here in the UK, so I want to go and enjoy it. What do you want, Peppa? Okay? Am I spending too much time reading today? Am I? Okay, so I have just finished this book and I loved it. It is not perfect. There are few books I think that I've read that I would say they were perfect reads. It definitely had its problems. I think Sarah J Maas's writing style is just a little bit repetitive, and she uses phrases for things that you just can't imagine people ever doing. You know, everybody hisses. As a human being, I very rarely hiss at anybody, you know. And so yeah, so there were a few problematic bits, and the first half was definitely slower than the latter half. But oh my goodness, if this has to fall into the guilty pleasure category, then let it fall into the guilty pleasure category, because I loved it. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, the only thing that I think let this book down was the riddle at the end. And this is not a spoilery thing, but there is a riddle that's kind of central to the plot. And I knew from reading the first line of the riddle, I knew the answer, which I felt let it down a little bit. I feel like if someone like Brandon Sanderson had been writing the book, we would have had no idea what the riddle actually was. But yeah. So I'm going to take a few minutes to process this and just how amazing it is, and decide whether I want to just go straight ahead and pick up book number 2, or whether I'm going to have a bit of a break for my brain, but loved it. So we've had a slight change of plan because we still have no electricity, so we've decided to come out for our dinner, and we're just going to a local pub, aren't we, James?
Yes, any excuse.
Any excuse to go drinking while the kids aren't here. So yeah, I'm not probably going to get much reading done this evening. It'll depend what time we get home, but we shall see. So it's just coming up to 11 o'clock now, and we've just come back from the pub. I have read a grand total of 18 pages of Noughts and Crosses by Ian Rankin, so I didn't do as much reading as I had planned to, because I didn't know that we were going to stay for the pub quiz. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of reading now, but I'll probably get the majority of this book read in the morning. Good morning, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I've just come out of the shower and I'm getting ready for the day. So I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm about halfway through Noughts and Crosses. I think that had we not had to go out for dinner last night because of the power cut, I would probably have finished this and started on A Court of Mist and Fury. We were out for about 4 hours in total last night, and I think I could easily have read this in that time. It's so easy and quick to read. The chapters are really concise, and the writing style is just really easy to get into. So I'm hoping that by 10 o'clock, which is kind of the end of my readathon, that I will have at least managed to finish this. But I have got some work that I need to get on with today, so I'm not sure. But having said all of that, I will do a proper update at the very end of the readathon. But yeah, I'm about 100 pages in. I've got just over 100 pages left to go, so we will see. Okay, so it has officially been 24 hours since I started my readathon, and I think I did pretty well. Obviously, I finished A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I have, with about 20 minutes to spare, just finished Noughts and Crosses, so I haven't picked up A Court of Mist and Fury. But I think, as I said earlier, having gone out for 4 hours last night to the pub for some dinner and for the pub quiz, we spent a lot more time out of the house than I was expecting to, so I didn't get to read as much as I thought I would yesterday evening. So I am going to accept that reading 2 books is pretty decent for the time that I had. I'll obviously talk about these in my August wrap up. But yeah, thank you for watching my 24-hour readathon vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you all soon.